Let's bring in Ross Delston. He's an anti-money laundering specialist in Washington, D.C. Ross, thanks so much for joining us. Is this what we need to see in the wake of the Panama Papers, a proper, organized conference to discuss the issues, or will it prove more of a talk shop in the end?
Well, the conference in Florida is one of the leading conferences in the U.S. on this subject. So that takes place every year. But what we really need is for the international standards of the Financial Action Task Force, known as the FATF recommendations, to be fully adopted by all countries, and they're simply not.
So what do you want to see done?
What I'd like to see done is for law firms in particular, in the US and elsewhere, to be subject to the same kinds of rules that banks are when they're acting for clients on commercial transactions. And most countries, many countries, particularly outside the EU, do not have these requirements for lawyers.
Okay, Ross, I mean, the Panama Papers marks actually the third major leak of offshore account documents. So are you confident something will actually even change this time?
It's hard to be too optimistic about that. We've had a 60 Minutes program targeting lawyers. There have been terrorist events in Belgium and Paris. It's hard to be too optimistic that enough will be done against this global problem.
Quickly, Ross, some of the issues they'll be looking at this conference include limiting the number of $100 bills in circulation, as they're often used for illicit dealings. Is that a real solution, in your opinion?
It's about number 53 on my list. It's certainly something that would be helpful, but it wouldn't change anything basic. For example, it wouldn't have any effect on the clients that are using law firms like the one in Panama, because that money is wired through banks.
Okay, do you think that's just a waste of time then, that they're putting this up toward the top of the agenda?
Well, as I say, it's number 53. I'd like to do those other 52 things first.
Okay.
Well, real estate agents are not covered.
Absolutely. Ross, unfortunately, we're going to have to leave it there. I'd like to thank you so much for taking the time to join us on TRT World.